Guys, one of the worst nightmares that can happen to anybody if you live in the diaspora is, I can't say the thought of being sacked, of being fired, but the experience of it. Well, it's scary enough thinking, what if I get fired? Or what if I do something that may result in me getting fired from my job? Well, I'll take you through, because I've been through it. You could be watching this video and you're thinking, what's happening with me? I will not survive this. This is the end of my life. This is the end. I'm gonna go back home and all the things that come with it. But this video, guys, it has taken me a long time to be able to talk about this, to be able to say, I want to share this story with everybody because I've been through it. I've been sacked before in the UK in this gay job. And guys, today I'm going to take you through what happened without going into much detail, because I'm trying to be very careful, because I mean, with GDPR and things like that. So I'll not go into the details of the whole situation, but I'll just bring you a bit of an insight into what it was for me, what it was for my mental health, how I felt then, how I reacted to it, and how I've managed to pick myself up, and still life goes on and we're here. We are happy in another job and life is going on and life is going on great and God has been good. So guys, a big welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching me for the first time, my name is Florence, and on this platform we do talk about life in the diaspora, life abroad. We talk about opportunities, we talk about experiences, work-wise, life in the diaspora in general, and it's according to our experiences. It's based on how we are living it and how we see it, and all the things that we share in our videos are our views and not the views of any organization whatsoever or anybody. So disclaimer there. So if you haven't subscribed, please be kind enough to subscribe, because it means a lot to us. So guys, today I want to share with you my experience of being sacked in care, of losing your job in care, of doing something and then you end up like your job is on the line and you end up getting dismissed, and what it means. Just to inspire somebody, just to encourage somebody to say, you're not alone, you're not the first one to go through it, and you won't be the last, because I went through it and I survived it, and I'm here and life is going on great. So guys, this happened I think sometime last year, because it's coming up a year now since I'm in this new job that I'm loving and enjoying every bit of it. So this happened in sometime last year. Honestly, to be fair, I've always worked, and I've worked for over 10 years, coming up 15 if I'm not mistaken, and I'd never been sacked before. I'd never been dismissed from a job before. Just to give you a bit of an insight into how I feel about work, I'm somebody who, I can't classify myself as a workaholic, but I put my everything in what I do. I do the things that I love, and I love the things that I do. I wouldn't work in a job if I didn't love it. So if you see me doing something, partly it's because I love it and I'm passionate about it, so I give it my all. So the outcome that happened with that organization wasn't what I expected. And mind you, I am somebody who, I value relationships. Everywhere I've worked, I've always maintained contact, and I always love to live on a good note. I always love to to be able to be in touch, communicate, wish people well, but which is the case anyway. Even after what happened with this organization, I'm still in touch with them. We still have a cordial relationship. We still have a very civil and good relationship, which is part and parcel of the things that I'll mention in the end of this video, to say this is some of the things that we can all learn, and we can all reflect on how we handle situations, even after being hurt, even after maybe a glitch or a sour episode. So I'll not be explicit with the details, guys, and I'm sorry. but I'm not sorry. So guys, what happened is, obviously I was working, everything was going on great according to me. But then one morning I just got a text to say, well, we need you to come to the office on such and such a date because there's been a complaint against you. So I was like, oh, complaint, okay. So I put that in my diary because like I had a few days before I could go for this particular discussion. But one of the things that I've learned is in this job, mistakes do happen nearly every day. You wake up and you're expecting a perfect day, but mistakes do happen. And I'd made mistakes before. So I thought, well, it's one of those things, probably. So, of course, me being me, I spoke to my family, I spoke to my support system. A big shout out to the people that support my career. I've got lovely, amazing people here in the UK and overseas who are just there for when I need career advice, for when I need work advice, and part and parcel of who I am professionally is because of them. A big shout out to them, and hopefully I'll have time and an opportunity to sit down with them and make a video so that you can get an insight of the amount of value and support that I do get from some of these my mentors. So I reached out to them and said, okay, this is the text I got, and well, we traced back the week back. You're trying to think, is there any situation where I could have done something, or I could have said something, or I could have been involved in anything? To be fair, to be honest, I couldn't figure out anything that could have gone otherwise. But it's work and it's care work. Anything can happen. You could do something and you're thinking, okay, I've done something to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my ability, and then it turns out otherwise. So one of the advices that I would get was like, okay, just go and hear what they say and be calm. Don't be emotional or anything. But guys, to be honest, those few days building up to that conversation, that discussion, that hearing, I would term it, were torture. In as much as I tried to be calm, in as much as I tried to be positive, I was like thinking, this is quite serious. A complaint. It's the last thing that you want if you're a carer. And worse off if you know your heart, you know yourself, that you, apart from it being a job, you give it your all, you're passionate about it, you are a caring person, it really does bother you. So yeah, but then anyway, we had to go and have this discussion for me to find out what I had done, or what was being alleged I had done. So but it's life, and it is that way, especially in this job. I've actually come across a few people who reach out to me and say, Flo, I've got hearing, Flo, I've got this situation going on. And one of the things, guys, that I want to advise people, of course, I'll talk about it towards the end of the video, the importance of joining a union. And guys, that time I didn't have a union. I didn't have a union at all. So that was out of question. No wonder why I was relying on friends and family for support. But then, obviously, if this would be as grave as I found out, they wouldn't be of no help. No wonder why, if you're watching this video and you don't have a union, please do join one. You just never know when you need them. You just never know when they'll come in handy. You're better off paying that £14 and knowing you're covered. So when the day came, I went to the office, of course. One of the things that I encourage people to do is calm and composure. And obviously, I am religious, so I prayed. So I went there, and when I got there, I was expecting to have a chat with my manager. But no, it was one of the managers, one of the big registered managers, and there was somebody with her. And obviously they said, well, we have to go into the boardroom or a side room. We went in there, and one of the first things, besides greeting me, one of the things that she said was, because of the nature of the discussion we're going to have today, we are going to record this conversation. Guys, it was then that I realized, like, this is serious. So I was like, okay. So they asked me if I was consenting to being recorded, of which I was. Honestly, I was so sure I had not done anything wrong. I had not done anything malicious. I had not done anything illegal. So I was more than happy to be recorded. So I signed a form, a consent form. This could be different depending on the organization you work for, but this is what I went through. So I signed that form to consent to say, okay, you can record it. And obviously she said, well, we are having so and so, taking down minutes of this discussion. Each time she would explain a step of this, it would highlight the gravity or the seriousness of the whole issue. And yeah, I could tell this was serious. I was like, okay. And then obviously she read out all the allegations and the nature of the complaint and who had complained. One of the things that I'm actually glad I did, or one of the things that I'm glad I did, was the fact that above everything, before I even said much, I apologized. I know you're thinking, apologize for what? I wasn't apologizing for what I had done or anything, because in my own view, in my own eyes, I had not done anything. But I'll share with you, I was apologizing for probably how the allegations or the complaints would have looked like, or would have made the organization look like. So I was like, well, first and foremost, I would like to apologize that we're actually having to sit here and be talking about a complaint against me, because my intention when I left my house that day was not to put the organization into disrepute, which is my intention all the time. I'm a happy, bubbly person, so when I go out and say I'm going to work, or I'm going to do this and that, one of the things I always make sure is I want to make myself proud. I want to make everyone proud. I want to put smiles on people's faces. I apologized. It had come to that, where we had to sit and there had been a complaint, and it's something that's not pleasant. And then the second thing I'm glad I did was the first question I asked them, I said to them, have you had a chance to speak to this person in particular and find out what actually transpired? And what I found out then was the fact that, well, this discussion was based on a third-party report. They had not probably had the time to go and talk to the person in particular to find out, or even find out from me without having to sit for this hearing. I don't know, but well, procedures differ. But like with my experience of having worked elsewhere and more, I thought, well, you investigate and then you sit down and find out from the other part or anything. But well, procedures differ. So I was open to it, but I had to ask questions. And actually, I think those questions, that apology and the question I asked, changed the whole trajectory of the discussion. More for me, I don't know for them, but for me, it made me actually even more calm, more confident, more, more, I was speaking more from a point of assurance from myself, assurance of my abilities and how I work, and which is one of the things that I just wanted to share with you to say. I think it's important, if you're living in the diaspora, if you work in care, or anywhere else, self-assurance is key. Self-confidence is key. And doing things to the best of your ability is also key, because that helped me. I mean, I wasn't, if I didn't have the self-assurance and the confidence I had then, that I had done everything to the best of my ability, I don't think I would have survived it. More for myself. I wasn't even scared of, in that moment when I asked those questions, I wasn't scared more of getting sacked or getting fired. But I was ready for it. I was ready for moving on, because I knew then that this is not where I want to be. This is not how I expect things to be handled. So yeah, I was actually ready then than I was when I left the house to come. Then that's not the important part. But there are things that I found out in there. So still, the conversation went on and on and on. And in the end, they said, well, so as an organization, we've decided to put you on garden leave. Wow, what a posh way of saying we are firing you. So I found out for the first time that there's something that's called garden leave. And I had to go afterwards to Google and find out more about that. Why? Because I mean, as soon as they said that, everything else that was said afterwards, like, was just faded conversation. I was deep in thought, like, there are things, if you live in the diaspora, if you're on a visa, that are always constantly on your mind, and you're constantly looking over your shoulder to say, okay, I don't want anything to go wrong. So in that discussion, I was thinking, is that going to ruin my DBS, which is a disclosure barring service, which is more like a criminal record? What are the implications of all of this? I didn't have the time to process everything. I didn't really have that much knowledge to say, okay, this is how it's going to go. But all of that was going on in my mind. I was thinking, in the future, if I need references for jobs and things, will this not come up? All of that does come up in your mind. Like, if you are working, if you're a career person, you think references are key. If you live in this country and you're doing this job, a DBS is very important, because nearly everywhere you go, you can't work unless you've got they do DBS checks. So all that was on my mind as that conversation was going on. Also, I was thinking, if they fire me now, does that mean they'll cancel my visa? I know if you've been in that situation where you've had to go for a hearing, or you're being investigated, or there's been allegations against you, it's one of the things that you think overall, because my stay in this country, the stay of my family and children, is based on a visa, and that visa is linked to an organization. So in that moment, so much was going on in my head. But I thank God for all the advice. I thank God for all the things that I've been through in life, and how they have shaped the way I handle things, the way I approach things. And I'm blessed enough. So I knew, in as much as, of course, I lost that job because of the nature of the skilled worker visa that we are on, having a long gap or a break in employment could have an impact on future citizenship plans, future visa application plans, and things like that. So I had that at the back of my mind, and I knew I had to do what I had to do. So it was either I continue with the organization, I appeal, I go through all the process and everything. But I mean, it was so clear, like, I'd lost that job. So I think quick and fast. And eventually, I thank God, I managed to handle that situation. And I think that paved the way for the next chapter in my life, which has been the biggest blessing since I relocated to the UK, and which I think brought about this journey that we are on, the relocation journey, the journey to explore opportunities and to want to empower the next woman, to want to empower the next immigrant, the next diaspora aspirant, or the next newbie in the diaspora. So guys, it's not like things turned out that bad. But above everything, guys, I want to share with you some of the lessons that I drew from that situation. Because one of the things that I've learned in life is, whatever that you go through, take the time to reflect on lessons learned from such an event. It could be something positive, it could be something negative, but always seek to learn. That's how you become better. Always take the time to reflect on it and try to find out, where did I go wrong? What is it that I missed? What is it that I could have done better? So there are lessons that I drew, which I want to share with you, because a lot of people have been reaching out to me and saying, Flo, I've got a hearing, Flo, I've got this situation going on. And I can assure you, this will not be the last. In as much as we try by all means to be extra cautious at work, in as much as we try to be professional in every way that we can, such circumstances will always be a part and parcel of our story and our journey, and we seek to be better through it. We seek to learn. So I learned, and I want to explore, in as much as I had so many lessons, but today I want to share with you 5 lessons that I learned from this whole situation. The first thing that I did after all had been said and done was to reflect and assess my professional skills and competences. To say, okay, I've been in the country, I've been in this job this long. Could there be a gap in terms of my skills, in terms of my competences? I've shared with all of you, like, my background and everything else. But that doesn't mean that with all the training and everything, I could have learned everything or I knew everything. So I reflected on my skills and my competences, and trust me, there are other things that I went like, okay, I think I need to drill down on certain skills. I need to drill down on these competences, which shaped, again, this journey that I'm on, where as I share information with you, as I share my journey with you, I'm also learning, I'm also absorbing information. So it was part and parcel of the things that I learned. The second thing that I learned was understanding workplace dynamics, workplace politics. There's nowhere that you're going to work or where you're going to go where there's no politics and dynamics. It's everywhere. But it takes emotional intelligence, it takes professionalism, it takes character for you to be able to adapt, for you to be able to gel in a team, for you to be able to fit in. And by fitting in, we don't mean lose yourself to conform, but at the same time, we're saying go and be a part of that team. Go and learn the reporting structure. The way things are done in that organization is very key. I know I've come across workplaces where, because we came from different backgrounds, different countries, different work experiences. So sometimes it's difficult to fit in there and then, because things will be done differently. And sometimes the things that you go like, but we could have done it this way. Give and take, timing is very key. Always find a way. If you want to add something, if you feel you want to give input, take your time to say, okay, how am I going to approach this? Without looking or sounding like you're not subordinate, you are not a part of the team. So it's very, very important to understand workplace dynamics. The workplace culture is very, very important for you to understand. Whenever you go to a new place, seek to understand the workplace culture and dynamics and the way they do things there, because 90% chance are they've got their own way of doing things that you got to conform to, that you got to find a way of living with. The third thing that I want to share with you that I learned was to develop resilience, especially if you're on a diaspora journey. It's one of the things that you have to learn from the moment you say, I'm relocating, I'm embarking on a diaspora journey. You got to learn resilience. By resilience, I mean, I'm trying to find the English word for it, like develop that tough skin, whereby, because I mean, so much will be thrown at you. You need to be able to weather that storm. You need to be able to support yourself before you seek for others to support you. You should be able to support yourself. You should be able to pick yourself up, which is one of the things that I did. I mean, I could have gone back home at that point in time. I could have looked at myself as a failure. I could have looked at myself as somebody who is not fit for this job. But I had that a little bit of inner resilience, inner power, inner strength that told me like, this is not the end. I've got room to learn. I've got room for growth. I've got room to experience other things. And so I picked myself up and I moved on, which again will shape, I think, the path that we're taking, the stories that I'm going to share with you, the journey that I'm going to share with you. Is going to get a bit more personal. So be kind enough to subscribe and stay on this channel as we grow and learn from each other's experiences, as we become successful through sharing our experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The fourth thing that I learned from that situation was being able to adapt to change in terms of everything. Sometimes we get so excited when we find these jobs and we are relocating to different countries. We just go like, I'm going to Europe, I'm moving to America, I'm moving to Australia. And we don't take the time to say, okay, how am I going to adapt to change? What are the certain changes that I need to adapt to? What are the certain new things or old things that I have to forgo to make room for the new? I'll give an example in this job. This was domiciliary, so you move from one patient to the other, one household to the other. It's not a one-size-fits-all job. You got to be somebody who is adaptable, quick to adapt. You're moving from one patient to the next one. You need to be quick in terms of your adaptation. Last but not least, you need to be able to adapt to organizational changes. You're moving from an organization in Africa that's run differently, a different team altogether. Find a way of adapting to that organization's policies, procedures, and their agreed ways of working. That will go a long way in your career. That will determine how you fare in that role or in that organization. But sometimes after time, our lives are just so busy. Sometimes we don't sit down and think, okay, what is it that I need to adjust? How am I supposed to adjust? And how quick am I supposed to adjust? Which areas am I supposed to adjust to? So it's something that you can reflect on, something that you can think about and see if you can change something. Last but not least, guys, one of the things I know we are always saying black doesn't crack, but it does. I want to talk about mental health. We cannot talk about any personal story, good or bad, and not talk about its effect or toll on mental health. So it's very, very important that we're conscious of the fact that mental health is as important as physical health, financial health, or any other health. So in whatever that we do, we have to be conscious of our mental health, the mental health of the people that we serve, the mental health of our colleagues, and overall, the people that we interact with. So one of the things that I'm glad I had people around me that supported me. That was a very dark moment for me. I mean, I could have lost it. I could have gone on a downhill. I had people that supported me. So if you find yourself in that situation, find people to support you. Find people that can advise you. Talk to someone, because I know this is happening. I've spoken to people. I've had people reach out to me and say, this is the situation I am in. My visa is going to be cancelled. I'm going to be deported. I'm going to be out of job. And it takes a huge toll on mental health. So speak to someone, get help. And above everything, I always love to say, join a union, because it's part and parcel of the things or the services that they do offer you. So if you've got a union, then you know you are covered. Then you know you're good to go. Above everything, guys, let's maintain professionalism in our workplaces. Let's be people that are honest, people that are caring, compassionate, competent, courageous, and we've got good communication. These are the 6 C's of care that should guide us in everything that we do. And when we follow them, when we live by them, trust me, we cannot go wrong. We are set for success, and we are set for finding fulfillment in this job. Guys, that's all I had for you in this video. I'll see you in our next video, guys. And thank you so much for your love and support. And I wish you strength and success in all that you do. Continue to support us by subscribing and sharing our content. And happy festive season. Bye.